Empathy may make us learn faster when it comes to helping others, new research suggests. Although empathy is often associated with traits like helpfulness and generosity, not a lot is known about how helpful behavior and empathy might be linked in the brain. Now, scientists have pinpointed part of the brain thought to drive us to learn how to be more helpful. The findings also suggest that people with higher levels of empathy are quicker to learn what they need to do to help. Patricia Lockwood and her team measured participants' brain activity in an MRI scanner while they tried to win money, either for themselves or for another person, as she explained to me.
So what we asked them to do was we asked them to choose between different symbols and to learn about which ones were better. So one of these symbols was always associated with a very high chance of winning some money, and one of them was associated with a very low chance of winning money.
So it's a bit like playing a game and you have to try and work out what the rules are as you go along.
Yes, exactly. But importantly, people did this in different conditions. So in one condition, they were told, when you pick between these two pictures, any money that you win will be for yourself. But in another condition, which we called the prosocial condition, we got them to perform the same task, but they had to pick between these two symbols. And we told them in this condition, all of that money will go to the other person who's outside of the scanner. And what we found is that people can be faster or slower to do this depending on their level of empathy.
Really? Why does this happen? What do we understand about this?
So if we take the average of how people performed in the study, then we find that overall people are faster to learn what benefits themselves. So they figure out how to get points faster for themselves than for the other person, or in a condition where we said points won't be converted into any money, and we just did that as a extra kind of control. But then if we look at the empathy scores, then we find that this pattern is not the same in people who report themselves to be high in empathy. These people actually learn at a similar rate when they're trying to benefit somebody else. So relative to the low empathy people, they're actually learning faster to help the other person. But what this does show us for the kind of first time is that empathy does really seem to translate into people's behaviour. So it might actually help us learn faster about what things we do will help another person.
Presumably this is subconscious. People aren't really aware that they're somehow trying harder in one situation compared to another one.
Yes, we presume that it is kind of subconscious. I mean, when you're trying to figure out the difference between the two symbols, we found that in all three conditions, so for self, the other person, or for no one, people performed significantly above chance. So everyone was able to figure out which of the symbols was better. It was just how quickly they were able to do this.
And you're able to link this decision-making to a particular part of the brain, is that right?
Yes, that's right. So we found, so we wanted to look in the brain to find any parts that particularly responded to helping somebody else. So parts of the brain that didn't respond when we were helping ourselves and didn't respond when the outcomes were for no one. And what we found was that there was only one part of the brain that showed this sort of unique pattern, and that was called the subgenual anterior cingulate cortex. And it's an area that's very deep in the brain and has previously been linked to things such as prosocial behaviour and moral decision-making. I think it could be important for understanding scientifically more about the mechanisms that underlie why we do things to help others. And also we know that there's lots of disorders that are associated with reductions in helping others, or even at the other end being extremely antisocial. And in our future research, we'd hope to study some of these populations of people and try to see whether it's particularly a problem that these individuals have with learning that might explain why they don't perform actions to help others or behave antisocially.
Patricia Lockwood. The study was published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences.